Welcome to Season 2 of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. This year, we're working on that energy. Join us as we talk midlife discoveries, spiritual awakenings, pursuing passions, reconnecting with the goddess within, and a whole bunch of other shit. Make sure to follow our socials and join us on Instagram Live Tuesday nights, YouTube Live Thursday nights. If you're looking for bonus content, episode archives, or just another way to connect with us, check us out on Patreon. Thanks for all the love and support. Now let's get to it. It's amazing the difference when you've got two people who are on the same page who still respect each other and they're just going their separate ways versus like the knockout, drag out, like stuff. So do you guys still have a mutual respect or like a care for each other?
1000%. We are like, we did not fight in our marriage. We never disagreed. We were like always on the same page. We were rocking with each other. So I can't imagine that even through divorce, we would have been trying to kill each other.
Hey Mo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Painting my nails.
I'm excited. We have a special guest today.
I love a guest. Who do we have?
We have Miss Christina Rhodes.
Miss.
Hello.
Hey, Christina.
How are you guys?
Good. Excited to meet you.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad Josh was able to connect us.
Yes. So my nephew reached out to me and said, you got to talk to this person. Their story is incredible. And so I did. And so just wanted to invite you here to share your story, your journey. And
we have never heard it. So this is going to be a first time hearing for Mo and I too. So Christina, go ahead.
Like, is this some joke? What if
I know? It's like, hey, just kidding.
Psych.
Okay, where should I start?
Do you want to start from the beginning and go backwards? Do you think, or
should we just start? Okay, so this episode, we do a lot of episodes about self-discovery, aging, just the journey women go through. And today, I think we're talking about divorce.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're talking about, right? Because that's something that happens, at a certain age, more and more people are experiencing this. So with that in mind, Christina.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm 33. I was born in the Philippines.
You a baby. Oh, Filipino. What? I'm half Filipino too. So
okay.
Go ahead, girl. Okay. I thought I saw it. Okay.
So I was born in the Philippines. I was a military brat. We eventually moved to California where my entire family is and were raised. And then I moved to Seattle for my career around age 26, I want to say.
Okay.
And I've lived here ever since. It's where I met my soon-to-be ex-husband. He's actually in the military. He's an Army guy and has been for 16 years now. So he's embedded in the lifestyle and just everything that you would expect a military person to be is him. So he was a great husband, a great provider. We met at a grocery store.
Wait, you can't. No,
we need to know origin. I love origin stories. How did y'all meet? Like,
because that's the dream. That's the dream.
Like, pass me.
How does this?
Like, what?
This is crazy. I never thought I'd actually meet someone who met in the grocery store. Let's hear about it.
Yeah. I'll rewind. So I was at a point in my life where I had lived in Seattle for about 4 years and I was not having any luck in the dating scene. I feel like if you don't know anything about Washington, they have this thing called the Seattle Freeze. People don't talk. And so when you're from California and everybody's like, hey, and then you come here and everyone's like, giving you these when you're like saying bye to them when you walk into a store.
Yeah, that was a culture shock too.
That was just really hard for me. It was hard for me to make friends. And so I just was struggling. And so in dating, I was just over it. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to focus on me and my career.
Yeah.
So I go to the grocery store because I'm having one of those days where I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to go buy all the things, ice cream.
Yes.
Let me just sulk in my own misery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5'2", and my husband is 6'2", so he's really
Stop
tall.
it.
And just completely not my type. Okay, so my type would be like, you know, tall, dark, and handsome, those green eyes, and my husband's like white and blue eyes, and just like totally not. He's pretty buff and everything, just like not my style. So I'm trying to get this Frosted Flakes box off the top shelf, and I'm struggling because I'm only 5'2", and I'm just like using other things to like help me get it off.
It's too cute.
He's just like, can I help you with that? And I just turned around.
Pickup line.
Yeah.
It sounds like a TV show.
I turned around and looked at him, and I was like, yeah, you can help me with that.
And he helped you.
You're like, ooh,
So
I dropped
he helped
something.
me get it off the shelf. And he's like, here, I'll put it in your basket. Do you need anything else off the top shelves? And I was like,
Aww.
no, I think we're good here. And he was like, okay. So I'm like starting to walk away because again, I'm in my own, you know, I'm trying to get my groove back. Okay. And he's just like, wait, you're walking too fast. Like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like,
is this a date?
Right?
I was like, okay. And he's like,
escort you throughout the store.
Right. And he was just like, can I help you with anything else in the store? And I was like, no, I think I'm good. I was like, I think I have everything I need. He's like, are you okay? You look kind of sad and you got all this sad stuff in your cart. And
Aww.
I'm just like, no, I'm good. I've just given up on men. And he's like, oh, so that's bad news for me, right? And I was like, wait, what? Like, just completely
when you don't expect it. People always say that when you don't expect it.
Yeah.
He asked me out on a date. We went on our first date, sushi, and we literally were sitting there for almost 4 hours.
Yes.
Until the restaurant closed, just like completely infatuated with each other.
I love it.
Just every day after that, we were like going to each other's houses. We only had lived like, I don't know, a couple blocks away from each other, so it was really convenient.
Wow.
And a year and a half later, we got married and moved in and all of that fun stuff. We bought our first condo together. He was on special duty assignment for recruiting. So he was in an actual city, not near a base. So he got to live more of like a civilian lifestyle, like a 9-to-5 type job. And so we lived a pretty normal lifestyle. We got dogs and traveled and did all these fun things. And once that assignment was over, it was time for him to go somewhere else. So we were trying to go to Washington, D.C., where he was trying to guard the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is a really hard assignment to get. And most people don't want to do it because it's kind of boring. You know, you're just walking around this tomb and you got to do it for like, you know, however many hours a day. But it was something really good that would look great on his resume. And so we had orders there. We took a trip to DC. We had like, you know, gone and looked at housing and everything. And then they canceled those and they sent him to Korea instead.
Whoa.
Big
so
change.
It happened so quick. And I was just like, here I go from like being with you almost every single day, 3.5 years, to like you shifting gears on me. And you're like, I'm going to Korea actually.
Damn.
So he goes to Korea. He's like, okay, do you want to stay in Washington? I'm like, here's my opportunity to find myself again, right? Like whoever gets this opportunity to live anywhere you want in the world, while he's doing his thing, you can go do your thing. So I was like, well, I want to go to Arizona. And he's like, you do? I'm like, yeah. So, I bought a house in Arizona. I lived there for 1.5 years while he was in Korea.
Wow.
And went on this journey to find myself, like to find my happiness, to figure out who I am outside of my marriage. And we have 3 dogs. So they literally, I would pack them up in the Jeep and we would just go off-roading. We would go to the lake. We would go hiking.
Oh, you sound fun.
Right?
we have no kids. So it was like, you know,
Girl, that's a life.
we would go to California, we would go to Arizona, I mean, Texas, anywhere. So we were just always going places. And he was, you know, doing his thing in Korea. We would talk like every day, these weird hours because of the time difference. But at that time in my life, I had gone through a really dark place. Like, you know, you're alone. You're essentially alone. You live alone. You don't get married to be alone, you know? And so I had to really figure out like who I am, what makes me happy, what career do I want to have, how can I continue to put my needs first? Because in my marriage, my love language is quality time. And
same.
he wasn't meeting that need, right? Like he was in a different world, and I'm not the type of person that was going to stress him out about what I was going through here. So essentially I was just battling my own demons, going to church, trying to do the right thing and keep this front for him so that he wasn't worried about me.
And there was no way for you to move to Korea?
So during that time when they were going to move him to Korea, my younger brother unfortunately was diagnosed with stage 2 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. Okay. So, and I raised my 5 siblings, which is for another day. We can get into that.
Wow.
At that time felt like I couldn't just be in another country when my little brother was going through such a drastic thing, you know.
It's understandable. Yeah, for sure.
He went from being like 250-pound like bodybuilder to like 140 pounds of like just bones. And so I just, as much as I loved my husband, there was just no way that I was going to do that to my brother, you know.
Yeah, right.
If I had gone to Korea, it would have been extremely difficult because they're not dog friendly. These spaces that they have as like apartments or housing are around like 400 square feet. So it's very small, and we have 3 like Labradors. So it would just be too much for us, I think. And then just the trauma from having them fly on a plane.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was not going to do all that. Plus, it's expensive. I mean, the military pays for it, but it's still expensive to like do all of that. To live there, to like uproot our lives, you know. So I just was like, I love you and wish you the best, but I can't do that. Yeah. So I had been in a really dark place, and it was to the point where I wasn't getting out of bed. And I don't know why, but I just wasn't getting out of bed. Like I wasn't sad. I wasn't anything. I just felt alone. And he would call me and he'd be like, have you even like showered today? Like, you know, what have you done for yourself? Like, you're not even spending money. And I know you like to spend money. So I know something's wrong, you know? And I guess it scared him enough that he got on a plane the following weekend and came from Korea and was like, what's going on? Like, talk to me. Like, I need to know what's going on. And it's like, I'm just struggling. I'm not made to be alone. Like, I grew up in a huge family. I have like 500 cousins. We're all really close. We all spend like every weekend together, like type of family, you know? And so like living in this place like alone is just like not doing it for me. And so he recognized that. He knew that he only had 6 months left there. So he's like, let's just get through this. Like, you know, then we'll be together and then we can go wherever you want after that. So that it was kind of the jump that I needed to kind of like, you know, connect with him, because again, my needs as a woman or a wife or a person weren't being met because of my love language. And so I just put like my, you know, armor on. I'm like, okay, I can do this. It's only 6 more months. Let's count it down. Let's stay busy. Let's go visit family. So I had stopped working. He just said, don't work, like go spend time with your family, go see your cousins and all the different places they live, and I'll be back in no time. So I'm like, okay, great. Leaving Korea, we were supposed to go to Texas, and Fort Hood, Texas, where, you know, the unfortunate tragedies of all these missing soldiers and all that. And I was like, I don't really want to go to Fort Hood. Like, I like my life. I like my husband.
Yeah.
You like, so he was like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, can we go back to Washington? He's like, yeah, we can go back there. So we came back to Washington. He got orders to a special unit here, and I didn't realize that the unit he was getting stationed with was going to be a unit that was never here. So it was a matter of like, he was gone for 7 months, then he was gone for 3 months, then he was gone for 5 months, then he was gone for 6 months. And so I'm like, we were supposed to, like, you know, be together, and you're still not even present and showing
What
up.
happened to DC? I thought he wanted to go to DC.
They got rid of those orders and sent us to freaking, or sent him to Korea. And
he couldn't put back in for it when he came back?
No, it wasn't available. And so, yeah, so we came back to Washington. Again, I'm doing Marriage Alone and just doing my own thing. I had gotten a really good job and just kind of threw myself into my work while he was always gone. And I'm like, well, if I'm already doing it alone, why do I need to be married, you know? And what, I mean, you're not even really meeting my needs as a woman or a wife or a person.
What was he doing? I guess my question, I mean, not that like, I'm not like blaming anybody, whatever, but I mean, if you're gonna be apart, you need to do extra things, you know, to make up for the you know what I mean? Like emails, letters, packages, calls, FaceTime, you know, phone stuff, you know what I mean? Like whatever you have to do to keep the connection, because that's very hard. And I bet a lot of military spouses go through this. Struggle
with this. This is the biggest struggle in the military spouse world, is that they are not men that do extra things. He would send me flowers. He would try to order something, you know, those packages off Amazon, and like he had sweet things, but like it was not enough. It wasn't enough for him to. And then you have to also think about what they're going through there. They're not there like leisurely. They don't get a day off there. They're on 24/7. They're running, they're doing things, they're running around, they're picking up people, like they're in trainings, they're shooting, they're doing stuff. So it's not like he was going to Georgia for training and he got the weekends off.
Right.
He was going to a third world country that was not allowed of him to be on the phone or like to even be seen in public. He couldn't even wear his wedding ring the last place he went to, because it was seen as a sign of disrespect. There's just little things like that that even I to this day will still never understand, because he'll never try and explain it to me. But he went through some pretty rough things. Like, this is a person that's been deployed with ours like 8 times to various countries. He's seen people's heads blown off. He's been to the safest country in the world, which he says is Korea, is like completely safe. And then this last tour that he did was the one that did it for him. He didn't come back a normal person. He was spiraling. He never drank. He was like a 1 beer kind of man. And he was smoking and just going out and partying and doing things that he is not. And the horrible thing is that they're surrounded by these single cheaters, you know, men that don't care for their wives, and those are all you have. Those are your friends, your battle buddies. When you're in another country, you have 6 guys you can depend on. So what do? Naturally, you go and you hang out with them, and then it starts to get fun.
It's bad.
Well, she's got it holding it down there. I don't have to worry about the house. I'm going to call her for this 2-minute call and give her what she needs, and then I'm out. And that's what it was for the last, you know, 6-7 months. So I get this call and he's like, hey, how are you? And we went from FaceTiming every day to then it being just calls every other day or every 3 days, you know? So I'm like, something's up. Thumbs up. You're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. You don't want me to see it in your face because I'm going to read it all over you.
Yep.
So he calls me and he's like, hey, like, I'm coming home soon. Like, I'm really excited, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll be home in like 4 weeks. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes. Like, I'm so excited. Like, got everything just in time for Thanksgiving. And he's like, yeah, I'm really excited. He's like, but can I tell you something? And I was like, yeah, go ahead, shoot. He's like, you're going to be mad, but I want a divorce. And I'm like, oh Lord, you couldn't wait 4 weeks to tell me that in person. You had to tell me over
Right.
the phone like a coward. Come on now. And I was just like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just been thinking about it. Like, I've been trying to find myself here, and this is where I'm at. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like, you take the next 4 weeks, because he was going into a training and he wasn't going to be able to talk to me anyways. So it was going to be 4 weeks of no talking. And so I'm like, just take the next 4 weeks to really think about your decision. And when you come home, we're going to sit down and we'll just figure it out. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay. Hung up the phone. I immediately broke down. Like, I'm not a person that cries. Like, I usually hold everything in. It's just a lot of past childhood trauma. I don't really like to show people my weaknesses, and because they'll use it against you really quick. And so I just was in the comfort of my own home, just like broke down, cried. I called, I have three other friends that are military spouses as well. I called them over, and they were just like listening to me cry, tell them the story. I needed to feel every emotion in that moment. Whatever it was, I needed to feel it. So there were times when I would be like crying, and I'd be like, no, you can't cry. You need to get up. And I would go run on the treadmill on like 5 speed, just trying to get the anxiety out, like, because it was so much, and it was just like I'm thinking of all the things. Like, he just bought me this 2,000 square foot house. He hasn't even lived in it. I've lived in it myself for a year and a half. Like, we got a boat, all these things. And so I'm just like, what are we going to do? Those 4 weeks were really rough. I cried, I prayed, I literally just soaked myself in the word. I didn't work, I didn't leave the house. I just literally stood home. And I just cried out, like, God, if I'm supposed to fight for this, tell me. Tell me that that's what I'm supposed to do. Or am I supposed to just leave this alone and walk away? And I was like silent for a moment, and I heard him say, he served his purpose. It's time for you to let him go.
Dang.
And I was just like, I'm sorry, what? And in that moment, like, he said it again, and I was just dead silent, and all of the emotions stopped. All of the sadness,
a peace came over.
Just came over me. Like, I just felt
I'm getting goosebumps.
On the right path.
Lord.
Yeah. Ain't that some shit? I said, ain't that some shit? Oh, ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Goddamn. Divorce. I know nothing about it. Hell, I haven't even been in a dating relationship, so I can't really have an opinion on what divorce is. But my question is, for all of these issues that we're seeing, is how do people find out who their partners really are? How do you know and trust and believe who the person is? And where is the point of buy-in where you say, well, I may not know 100% of who this person is, but I know the fundamental values, the fundamental character, the fundamental essence of this person. So I am willing to take a risk and say that I am willing to commit to this person for the rest of my life. And what does it take to break that bond? Is love worth fighting for? And what does the fight look like? I think a lot of times our egos get in the way, and we feel unseen and unheard, and it's easy to walk away from a situation. But what if, just once, what if you take a chance and try to work things out and see that true soul that you fell in love with in the first place? Something to think about. Hell if I know.
And he came home. I didn't talk to him for the first 4 days. I let him get acquainted with his life again. And then I sat down with him like a business transaction. I went through all of our assets, and I just said, here's your stuff. Here's mine. We'll sell the house. I'll give you this much from the house, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay. And I was like, all the dogs are coming with me. He's like, yeah, that's good. And that's kind of where we're at. So we just filed for divorce. We're getting ready to put the house on the market. So yeah.
What are your feelings about, like, I mean, I know you've got a sense of peace, and it sounds like it, from the way you were able to handle, like, transactionally, like, okay, we're going to separate our assets. Cause I've worked in divorce mediation. I've done that. And it's amazing the difference when you've got two people who are on the same page, who still respect each other, and they're just going their separate ways versus like the knockout, drag out, like stuff. So do you guys still have a mutual respect or like a care for each other?
1000%. We are like, we did not fight in our marriage. We never disagreed. We were like always on the same page. We were rocking with each other. So I can't imagine that even through divorce, we would have been trying to kill each other. It was very amicable. We came to a decision together. We filed together. We agreed on everything together. We still do things together. Like we'll go to dinner. We go grocery shopping. We're still
grocery shopping.
Very much care, you know, about each other's well-being. There's times he locked his keys in the car and then I had to go get him because he doesn't have any friends. I'm his only friend. So
is this a conscious uncoupling? Is this what this is?
I don't know. I think whatever is wrong with him, he needs to figure out so that he can be a better man and a better husband for someone else. But I don't think that I'm going to be the wife that he needs because I'm not slowing down. Like I'm at the peak of my life and my career and my finances. Like I want more from life than he can offer me at this point. I make more money than him now. I feel like I've gradually grown faster than him.
We were just talking about something similar to that, like how the pool, the dating pool is so, you know, low quality that
low quality.
You know,
that's what Mo calls it. There's a supply problem.
A supply chain problem. But, you know, there was a time where we had no choice but to find a partner in order to survive. Right. And so I think that shifting has really made it like a whole different world.
Yep.
Yeah, men are optional.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
And how long?
You can have a lot.
Oh, okay.
So wait, how long were you married? And like how long were you married in total? And how long were you married before you started, you know, before Korea?
So we were married total 7 years, and before Korea it was 3.5 years.
Wow. So what, your frontal lobes weren't even developed when you were
y'all were young.
Young.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You kind of grew into adulthood together.
He's 35. So I'm his second marriage. His first marriage, so he has a son from that marriage, but that divorce like was ugly. Like, so like I think him going through this horrible divorce and then like, you know, going through our divorce was so easy. Like I just had surgery and he took me to the hospital and he's caring for me like through the surgery, and his captain's like, yeah, man, I guess you could take the day off to go take her, but that's kind of weird, no? And he's like, yeah, no, we're still like friends. It all works for us.
You don't have to hate each other.
Yeah, that should
if
be
they
normal.
don't work, they don't work.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you have to be mortal enemies or something like that, you know?
Agree.
Especially when nobody did anything really wrong. You guys just grew apart. Yeah. But that's really mature of you guys to be able to, because a lot of people, maturity goes out the window in divorce. Like for you guys to notice, hey, this isn't working. And we each have to work on ourselves to be better people. So that's, I mean, that's
like why be miserable? Where are you now?
Now we're getting ready to sell this house.
In Arizona or Washington?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of have been really considering going back to Arizona. Half my family lives there, so I probably live closer to them. And he's going to Italy, which is annoying.
Fun.
I'm like, you couldn't get Italy when we were together. I'm like,
right.
Oh, now you get it?
Yeah. Are you sure you want to get divorced? Like, we should just be married. Just take me with you.
Right.
In the meantime.
So, yeah, he's like, no, but you can come visit me. Like, it'll be fun, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, yeah, we're just trying to figure out, like, what to do with our lives. You know, we had a house in Arizona. We have a boat. We had to, like, you know, start selling all
assets.
To trying to get our lives separated here. And so the last thing is our house here. And we're kind of waiting for the market to peak, right? So we get the most money out of it. And still just trying to cohabitate with each other, which people think is weird, but he's really like just him and I'm just me, and I've always just been not the type of person to argue with people or throw somebody out on
Yeah.
the street, you know.
Yeah.
I'd rather know that he's safe and that he's eating every day than
Mm.
Yeah. Especially if he's going through what he's going through. You know,
Yeah.
like that's a,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you
that's
have to
Wow.
have support during those times. So,
yeah.
so
And
that's
and
important.
it's not his fault, like, that he wants something different than I do, you know. I mean, we always never wanted kids together. That wasn't the deal breaker. He just wants to go and be in the Peace Corps and travel the world, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, we got 3 dogs. Like, how you want to take
Yeah.
90-pound dogs with us to travel the world? Like, he's
Yeah.
like, well, that's the problem. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck. 'Cause, you know, they were there through like the darkest times of my life, and I
Mhm.
can't imagine being like, okay, dogs, I appreciate you guys, you know, carrying me through this, but it's time to bounce. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm good with it. His family's good with it. My family's very supportive. We just,
That's good.
our life was really good together. He really taught me a lot of things and helped me grow as a woman. And I know that my next relationship, whatever it is going to be 10 times better because of the growth that I've gone through
Yes.
just being with him, you know.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
That's great.
that's in a
Wow.
nutshell.
That's great that you can get that from it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's important. Wow, what a story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a
lot
lot,
of
but
people are shocked.
But that's love, that's life, that's marriage, that's relationships. It's a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot. Wow.
I think people don't really fully comprehend that we don't hate each other, or that he didn't cheat on me, or there
I
wasn't
think that's beautiful
an argument.
because that is a love. It's, hey, we realize this isn't working. We love each other. We care about each other. Let's do better
yeah,
alone if we
it's
have
true
to.
love.
yeah,
It's not about stuff. It's not about this and that. It's about I
Status,
love
yeah.
you.
yeah. I
and
really
I want the best for
felt
you.
like he was my soulmate. Like, he literally saw the ugliest parts of me, and so I believe soulmates don't have to be in love, you know. So yeah.
Well,
Oh,
thank
we
you so much,
appreciate it.
Christina.
yeah.
Thank you.
guys.
And
It
best
was
of
a
luck to you
pleasure.
both. Thanks.
Yeah,
Best of luck to you
definitely.
both. We'll follow up with you later to hear what else is going on.
Yeah. My new love
Okay.
life.
Yes. Oh, yes. Come to the live. We'll have to check that out. We need an update.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Two Girls Shooting the Shit with Em and Mo. Please enjoy this mindful moment. There is a difference between giving up and knowing when you've had enough.